Okay, everybody, so I have made a spin wheel featuring every name of all the cars featured in GTA 4 and are not featured in GTA 5. So, in order to help me choose what car we do next, let's go ahead and spin the wheel. Really? Okay then, I guess we're gonna do this car next. So, I've waited quite a while to see if Rockstar would add this car to GTA 4 or GTA 5, and they never did. And I'm not surprised, honestly, because they want to focus on newer cars, I guess. And yes, this car is called the Vapid Uranus. I thought for some reason Uranus is pronounced Uranus, but I found out it was only for the sake of a kids' TV show, so they wouldn't get in trouble, I guess. So yes, this car is called the Vapid Uranus. Haha, funny butt jokes. I get it. Anyway, here it is. Introducing the 1986 Vapid Uranus. Uranus can slide, but it's front wheel drive. Uranus runs fine, but it's not in GTA 5. Jeez, 2 front wheel drive cars in a row? Don't blame me. Blame the spinner. And yes, this Fox body knockoff is front wheel drive. And I have a very interesting theory as to why later. When I first played GTA 4, I had no idea this thing was front wheel drive, and frankly, I probably didn't care. When I first played it years ago at a Boy Scouts game night, I just thought, and I quote, "It looks like some old family car, despite being a 2-door liftback." Yeah, I was kind of dumb back in 2008. Also, I liked it because of the ridiculous special variant, which I'll showcase later. The Uranus was only previously featured in GTA San Andreas, with its design closely related to a Subaru SVX and a first-generation Mitsubishi Eclipse. Funnily enough, the Uranus in this game was also rear-wheel drive. When the car returned to GTA 4, it now resembled a third-generation Ford Mustang, better known as the Fox Body Mustang, and a little bit of a Mercury XR4 Ti. Basically, it's a rebadged Ford Sierra Cosworth thing. We didn't get it in the States, but the Europeans did. Lucky bastards. Well, I mean, we got it, but they got the objectively better version of the Sierra. So, there you go. The third generation Mustang ran from 1979 until 1993, making it, I think, the longest running generation. Now, obviously, it received many facelifts and design changes over the years, which in the end culminated into the greatest version of the platform ever seen towards the end of its life, known as the SVT Cobra. The Fox body could be equipped with a multitude of engines, the smallest offering being a 2.3-liter inline-4 from the Ford Pinto, with a turbo offering for the engine as well. The more sought-after ones, of course, were equipped with a 4.9-liter or 5.0 small block V8. Now, as pretty standard fare, you could have had either a manual or automatic transmission. According to the Wikipedia page, you could have had either a 4-speed or 5-speed manual or a 3-speed or 4-speed automatic. Now, I'm going to assume that because this car has been around for such a long time, I'm assuming the 4-speed automatic and 5-speed manual were probably offered on later models to, make sure it runs better, I guess. The Fox body was also offered in a variety of 3 body styles: the notchback design, the hatchback, and the convertible. Naturally, I prefer the hatchback. So, I mean, technically, if you had the turbo 4-cylinder hatch, it could be considered like an American AE86, except it's probably worth more because of boomers. So, there's also that. According to the model in-game, the Uranus features a longitudinally mounted single overhead cam V8. This is somewhat odd because we already know for the fact that this car is front-wheel drive. I like to think that maybe someone at Rockstar wanted to make this car rear-wheel drive, but maybe someone else changed it. I think that the car is actually powered by a 4-cylinder, primarily due to the engine sounds it makes and the acceleration. I'll talk about that in a minute. Alright, here's my theory on why the car's front-wheel drive. In 1989, Ford was planning to launch a replacement for the Ford Mustang. It was a sporty-looking, sleek two-door coupe that featured an engine designed by Mazda. It seemed pretty cool, pop-up headlights, 4-cylinder and music options, but no V8. Why did people backlash against this new idea? It was simple. It was front-wheel drive. Naturally, Ford gave in. Rather than replacing the Mustang, they decided, hey, let's just release this car alongside the Mustang. And they called it the Ford Probe. I know, it's a pretty funny name, but then it clicked. Uranus, Probe. Both are front-wheel drive, and both can be taken as a sexual innuendo. Not only is this some kind of ass joke, but some kind of hidden commentary on how Ford wanted to replace the Mustang with a front-wheel drive car. Maybe I'm digging too deep here. The wiki mentions nothing about this, but perhaps, maybe, I've discovered something. I don't know, just a thought. On that bombshell, let's move on to handling. The car handles pretty close to the Hakumai. Even though it's front drive, you can easily handbrake and Scandinavian flick your way to a sick pseudo drift or power slide. I did, however, have some issues with acceleration, especially when coming out of corners. Now, typically, if I want to, get an extra boost, I typically force the car to downshift by pulling the handbrake or by using the normal brakes. Typically it works, but for this car, it refused to downshift into a lower gear. This might be due because of the lack of torque from the engine, and because it has a 4-speed transmission. So after second gear, the car basically just... don't get me wrong, the car is fast when it reaches the top speed, that is. Honestly, the performance kind of feels a bit lacking for a sports car. And yes, the dispatcher for the police calls this a sports car. I have a clip right here to show you right now.
Subject last seen in a yellow sports car.
Okay, now I get to talk about the special Law's Speed variant that's driven by the Russian Mafia around Hope Beach. This was one of the main reasons why I liked this car back in the day. Now looking at it, years later with modern eyes, it does look a bit ricey compared to the more modest Hakumai from the Albanians. Maybe Russians just don't know how to modify cars, I don't know. Which is funny because the Russian Shafter V12 looks perfectly fine. It has black wheels, a front lip, nothing too fancy, This car features black painted wheels, black window louvers, a huge rear spoiler, side skirts, front lip. It also appears to have a custom exhaust that's on the left side of the car as opposed to the right, rally style front fog lights, a Law Speed sunstrip, hood vents that appear to do nothing, Law Speed racing seats, and some kind of cap on the rear panel which is supposed to mock chav culture. Chav is some kind of British term. I didn't look into it that much, but that's kind of weird for a Russian-owned car, but hey, what do I know? Performance remains the same, of course. This is basically the normal car with some extra features. There you go. Well, we got one more car off the list. A classic that should definitely make a return to GTA 5, or maybe GTA 6 when they finally make it, which will be probably never at this point. But hey, I still have GTA 4, which is going to be probably leagues better than GTA 6. So yes, give it all we got for that. So yeah, that's basically it for this video. This is the Uranus, whatever you want to call it. I don't care. Yeah, I have this car is a bit of a soft spot in my heart because I always loved this car when I first started playing GTA 4 on my school MacBook. I don't know how the hell I got this thing to run on my MacBook. I must be using fucking wine or some shit. Yeah, and it barely ran on my computer, but all I wanted to do was just crash cars and stuff, because I gotta admit, the car crashing in this game is super fun. But now that I'm an adult, all I want to do is make sure they don't get crashed into. But either way, it's still pretty good. So yeah, I'm learning a bit more how to use the editor and stuff and record clips. It's still kind of, you know, I had to use some in-game footage. I could not find the Vapid Uranus during my recording, so I had to actually go make an actual in-game clip to show y'all. So, you know, some cars I'm gonna have are so rare. Like, for example, if I ever do the Willard, I'm gonna have to start a whole new game just to find it, because that car is super rare to find. But yeah, that's basically it for this video. If you enjoyed the video or want to see more cars, stay tuned. I'm not going to be taking requests for this series because I have the whole wheel, and because there's only, like, you know, a couple cars that are in this game and not in any other game after this, I'll use the wheel basically for the rest of this series, just to kind of help me decide what to review next, rather than having to, like, rack my head around thinking, what do I do next, what do I do next, you know. So that's it for this episode. Thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all next time.